Okay, hatboro-horsham. I'm going to do a G major scale. I'm going to do it just a major scale. The fingering of playing a major scale down your guitar this way. So a little bit of reviews in order, and pay attention like Baxter is paying attention. He's taking notes over here. So we have first a little review. A chromatic scale means that I just play every note that there is until the starting note repeats. I'll demonstrate with E. This is standard tuned guitar, so I have an E on string 6. If I play every note, which means fret by fret, each of these individual, a string at a certain fret is a certain note. And that note is, on string 6, open, it's an E, an F at fret 1, F sharp at fret 2, G at fret 3. That's when we're going to demonstrate, so we're going to come back to that. Where you probably have a dot on your guitar. That's a reference point for you. You should remember that's a G note. If this is a G note on string 6, it's also a G note on string 1 in a standard tuned guitar. So I have G, G sharp, A, going fret by fret and note by note, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, and you have double dots down here. And that means that you have an octave from the open string starting point. So this obviously sounds like something. It sounds like it's it's something that proceeds in an orderly fashion, and of course it does. It doesn't go. There's nothing like that. It's very orderly, one after another. You can feel it's moving toward something that actually sounds like a resolution, an octave away from the open string. And that is, when I get to these double dots, it means it's the very same note as the open string, but it's an octave higher. You can hear a relationship between these two. It sounds like there's a relationship between this open note and this note at fret 12 more than it does. This one has it's a little jarring, but this sounds natural to your ear. And that's sort of the way to conceive of all of music theory, things that are dissonant and things that are consonant in sound to your ear. But I digress. So let's start with how do I make a G major scale? Well, you remember also from this 12 note and repeat this is called a chromatic scale. From that chromatic scale, we can make any scale by using the following system. Just skip 2 notes from whatever your starting note is. This is E in this case. Skip 2, skip 2, skip 1, skip 2, skip 2, skip 2, 1, and that should sound to you like the familiar do re mi scale. And that obviously, since I'm skipping notes, I'm dropping notes out and selecting certain notes, and I'm selecting them on that scheme no matter what scale you're constructing. And the scale you're constructing is based on a starting note. So if I'm starting at E here, I skip the next note, skip a note, don't skip a note, skip a note, skip a note, skip a note, and don't skip a note. If I start on G, which we're going to do down the guitar, if I start on G, I do the same thing. Skip, skip, don't skip, don't skip, skip. And you hear that that's right there is the chromatic scale going down. And I'm just doing this to demonstrate so you can see where I am on each fret. If we go down the fretboard like this, we end up with a G major scale played down. I played the same notes at least to this point. We'll get to that in a second, but at least to this point, which is string 4, fret 5, that's a G note. That's the same G note as down here at fret 15 on string 6. So without further ado, we're going to play this with our middle finger on string 6, fret 3. That's the starting note. Whatever note my middle finger is down in this very same configuration that I give you, that will be the major scale in whatever note you're starting on. I have my index finger at fret 2 and my middle finger at fret 3, my ring finger at fret 4, and my pinky at fret 5. Whatever notes are played on fret 2, I play with my index finger. Whatever notes are played at fret 3, I play with my middle finger. Whatever notes are played in this scale with my on the 4th fret, I play with my ring finger and my pinky at fret 5. So we start off string 6, fret 3, and you can write these down. String 6, fret 3, middle finger, string 6, fret 5 with your pinky. We're dropping down now to string 5, index finger, fret 2, middle finger, fret 3, pinky at fret 5. Now we drop down to string 4, fret 2, index at fret 2, ring finger at string 4, fret 4, and there I've just completed an octave. And this is string 4, fret 5. So I have so far. And then from here, I go to string 3, fret 2, string 3, fret 4, string 3, fret 5, middle finger, string 2, drop down to string 2, fret 3, string 2, fret 5, excuse me, and then string 1 we drop down to, string 1, fret 2, string 1, fret 3, and you just play 2 octaves of the G major scale. And you can hear that do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So you want to practice that fingering. Now, what about the fingering? The fingering, you want to have your hands anchored here. I don't mean locked in so that you need surgery for carpal tunnel, but you have to have your hands here sufficiently placed so that you're not hunting for these notes. You see, when I play this, my hand doesn't move. I'm stretching for this note, and that's where the practice comes in. I'm stretching for these extreme notes out here. If I just play those extreme notes, I'm now playing a pentatonic scale, by the way, for the more advanced guys. That is the pentatonic scale, which is, you know, the 4/top song. So you're stretching for these notes, and you're certainly not doing it with the same finger. But I already said that. This is where your fingers play. Any note that's played on string, on fret 2, you play with your index finger. Any note that's played on fret 3, you play with the middle finger. Any note on fret 4 with your ring finger, and any note on fret 5 with your pinky. And that's what you want to do, is to get your hands sufficiently anchored. You also, as you pick up speed, you want to alternate the pick. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. See, my pick is going down and up. And that's how you'll develop pick speed as you advance, and you'll appreciate that later on. If I wanted to play, for instance, the frets you'll notice are farther apart here. If I come down here to, let's say, a C, how do I go to a C? Well, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, which is string 6, fret 8. The very same fingering gives me a C major scale. That's the geometry of the guitar, and you want to get used to that because that will help you advance if you really understand what's happening. Notice as you say these, then when you start, go 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and octave. 1, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, octave, because that's what you're going to be referring to in everything in music terminology, whether you're constructing a chord, which is the 1st, the 3rd, and the 5th. 1st, 3rd, 5th. That is what a chord is made of. The first, the third, and the fifth of its scale. And all the other, the sixth, the sevenths, and all those things, they're based on the sixths and sevenths of this scale. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So we'll get to more of that later on. But for now and forever, practice your fingering so you pick up speed and you get very familiar with the relationship of those notes. And I'll see you on Tuesday.